Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Joe Nicasio, your business coach. Uh, I I did a question this week with I posted this on Facebook, and the question was I said I'm cooking up a live for sometime this week. What questions do you have about building a successful business? And so one of the responses I got was from Shirley Jones, and she said, how to create a contract? How do I create a contract?" And this is a really important question, and the first thing I want to just really emphasize, you'll notice on the screen scrolling, um, there's a little ticker at the bottom. It says, "This is not legal advice. Always consult your attorney." I am not an attorney. I am a marketing consultant. But, so you can look at how do I write a contract from a marketer's point of view versus how do I write a contract from a legal point of view. And so they're slightly different. They need to kind of merge somewhere in between. And so the first thing I want to do is really start to emphasize an offer and a contract are they're very similar. Okay. You make an offer, and if somebody accepts that offer, it becomes, it can be, if you do it properly, it can be considered a contract. So let me share with you something. An offer, in sales, it's what does the prospect get and what they need to get it. So here's what they get. They get certain results. They get certain benefits. You're selling a product or a service, you're giving maybe bonuses and guarantee, maybe terms. Okay. And then there's the things that the prospect needs to do in order to get it. So, a contract is a meeting of the minds. Again, I'm not an attorney. Talk to your attorney, get legal advice. But I've put together something that's kind of pragmatic. So the prospect does their part and they get something in return. And one of the things that we want to do is, as a marketer, we want to make this a lopsided deal. In other words, it's in favor of the prospect. They're paying us money and taking on a certain amount of risk, in order to get the things that they're going to get. And so the first thing is you want to present it in such a way that it is advantageous. A contract is like, here's a legal agreement between these two people, or here's a legal agreement between, a person and a company. Okay. Well, the fact that, we always learn growing up, never sign on the bottom, the dotted line, don't look over things without having your attorney look over it. And so, there is a kind of this important thing that we don't want it to scare people away. A contract can scare people away. An agreement or an order form, they're doing the same function, but we want to friendly it up so it doesn't feel like some kind of nasty monster. We want it to feel very friendly. Also, something I really want to, kind of emphasize on here is, oops, wrong one. Something I really want to emphasize is that, if it sounds and feels like a contract, it can feel kind of scary. If it feels more comfortable and approachable, it's going to feel a little safer. So part of the whole deal here is want to make you feel safe. So I have once upon a time when I was researching this for myself to put together agreements, I got up by Nolo Press, and they have like do yourself legal stuff. And so I put together a worksheet. I'm going to share that with you on my screen here in a moment. And and what it was like kind of like a contract checklist. Okay. And so I'm going to share that, that checklist with you. And what I want you to do with it is use it as a guideline to help you sketch out your agreements before you go to attorney. You can kind of, put some of the terms together, make your job a little bit easier. So let me share that document with you right now. So this is something I put together for my own use. This is an agreement between who and who. That's not even really necessarily listed here, but who is this? I'm Joe, I'm the consultant. You're, Sam, the the buyer, or you are ABC, so is it between like, is it worth between a sole proprietor and a sole proprietor? Or is it between a sole proprietor and a corporation? It's between two corporations. And who does what? And if somebody's an individual, or they're an independent contractor, it helps you spell that out so they don't get mistaken as an employee. And so what we want to do is like, what are the specific promises? Oh, by the way, where I think a lot of people say like under promise and over deliver, I want to give you a new perspective, and that is promise with precision. Make promises you can deliver on. I think one of the biggest keys to success in business is this idea of deliver the goodies. If you can deliver the goodies, if you can, make good on your promises, I think you're gonna. It's a good way to build more of a solid business. I think the people that get into legal trouble, overall, are the people that don't make good on their promises. Of course, we live in America, or in America, anybody could sue anybody for anything, including nothing at all. And so, but I think one of the ways to, eliminate or minimize, putting yourself in legal situations is to deliver the goodies. So number one is who does what, and what promises. What am I promising you, and what are you promising me in return? Before I even take somebody on as a client, I say on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to this business? If they say they're 9 out of 10 committed, I can't take you as a client, because I work with people who are 10 out of 10 committed. I'm 10 out of 10 committed to your success. But if I'm a 10 and you're a 9, like maybe we shouldn't enter an agreement in the first place, because we got a problem before we even started. That is, I'm more committed to your success than you are. That's a problem. The next thing is who owns the intellectual property. There's the things that I create, and there's the things you create, and there's the things that you create under my guidance. But, kind of helps to spell out who owns the intellectual property. And then, the terms, who does what, what are the payment terms? What's the price? What's the compensation plan, if that applies? What's the payment schedule? Or is it paying full up front, or is it pay up front and pay the balance in 30 days? So you need some kind of terms, price, comp plan, payment schedule. How does the thing work? Okay. And again, these are guidelines. Use these guidelines to sketch out your contract or your agreement, and then run it by your attorney. And then what are the warranties? What are the time frames? What are the corrective measures? So I have a basic agreement I do with clients. It's 6 months of coaching for $10K, with a guarantee that you'll make your money back and double it. And if you don't, I'll keep working with you until you do. And there's a condition that you have to do your part. So that's part of the terms. You have to do your part. You have to, and I could probably be better about spelling out specifically what that looks like. But it's pretty easy to, if you're showing up, that's, a good start. If you're doing the work, that's a good start. If you're not showing up, that's a bad sign. And if you're not doing the work, that's a bad sign. But I have, with like 1 or 2 exceptions, 6 months of coaching for $10K with the guarantee you'll make your money back and double it. And if you don't, I'll keep working with you until you do. I have very high, client success rates in that. But the guarantee is clear. I'm not giving your money back, but I'll keep supporting you and working with you, as long as you pay the $10K. If you don't make your payment plan, or if you stop making payments, you break your own contract. Okay. And so, so 6 months, that's a time frame. What are the corrective measures? Like, if something goes wrong, how do we fix it? And then there's the conditions of termination. You can do a contract. I'm going to help you grow your business, and you're going to pay me, 10% in perpetuity. So it's not you can't really terminate it unless on a separate agreement that we agree to, that, I maybe buy you out. So there needs to be a condition of, when this contract can be killed, but it just can't be killed for no reason at all. And then there's, liquidated damages. What happens if I get hurt because you don't come through? Or what are the consequences of a breach? If I don't do my part, what are the consequences? If you don't do your part, what are the consequences? And what's the method used to compute, the commission? One of the things that comes up is, okay, if I bring you 10%, if I bring you $1 newfound profit, would you give me a 20% commission? Okay, great. Would you pay me 10% of the gross revenue? Okay, great. Well, I need the right to audit your books. My accountant needs to look at your accountant, and talk to. Part of the problem here is one of the reasons I don't usually do those kinds of deals is because you got to give me permission to open up your books. And that's kind of hard if you don't keep a set of books. It's kind of hard if you're fudging the books. It's kind of hard if you won't let me look at the books or my accountant look at the books. Okay. So we need to, have some kind of system in place to keep everybody honest. And then can the contract or the agreement be transferred? Can it be transferred to another person? So like when I die, can my spouse continue collecting on this agreement? Or if I sell the company, can I go with them? Okay. And then, a lot of people, they get into litigation and it's a problem. I found, again, this is my guide sheet for what I do. I prefer to put a clause in there that both parties agree that we will never do litigation. If we have a problem, number one, we'll try and resolve it ourselves. And if we can't resolve it ourselves, we will assign a third party mediator to, agree. And so then what happens, what's really cool about this kind of a clause is if somebody says, I'm going to sue you, it's like they can't because they agreed, because they signed this agreement. They agreed to mediation over litigation. And that's a thing that can kind of save you a little bit. And then, if there is a mediation, maybe the legal fees and legal costs are agreed to, that, whoever the mediator decides should bear the brunt of that burden. And then, you need to have normal things like the address for communicating concerns. And, is this, in the state of California or wherever it's executed, where's the venue? And then you need both parties to sign. So this is an agreement checklist that I put together for myself. If you send me a private message, I might be nice and even send you a copy. But again, this is not legal advice. It's always best to, consult your attorney. This is for entertainment purposes only. But Shirley did ask the question, how do I create a contract? And so these are the things, I like to sketch these things out. I want to say something right now. It's really important because everybody's worried about the contracts, and you think that a contract will save your ass, and not necessarily. When you're dealing with honorable people, you don't even need a contract because they're so honorable, they'll keep their word. And if you're dealing with dishonorable people, you can have a really tight contract, but dishonorable people will always find a way to not pay or not make good on their contract. So contracts do not always save your ass. It is, if you do end up going to court, it is something that can add a layer of protection to what you do. So let me see. I just wanted a couple notes here. So why is it important to have a good contract? Because, it's hard to sometimes, if the agreements are not clear, if the agreements are fuzzy, then if you ever do get in a dispute, it's frustrating because we haven't communicated clearly. A contract is a meeting of the minds. It's in writing and both sides agree to it, and we're meeting in this middle ground. I think what we want is a friendly agreement. A 5,000 page contract is like, nobody reads that. There's a joke, Adam and Eve were the first two people in the world that never read Apple's terms and agreements. Okay. If you have all this giant contract and lots of, too many lines, too many conditions, tiny, fine print. I think we want something that's clear and simple, 1-page agreement, half-page agreement, super simple. And I think that that's one of the mistakes people do. If it's too complex, people won't necessarily agree with it. If it's not clear, if it seems too litigious language, attorneys very often don't help make deals. They actually kill deals. And so, the big idea is keep it simple, keep it clear, use a template, use some guidelines, and, you can use worksheet share with you. And, just remember, clear contracts, clear agreements, make it easy to do business, complex agreements, complex contracts can sabotage the agreement. You can actually create something called an order form. Yes, Joe, I agreed to paying you this much money. I understand I'm going to get this, and this. And if you can deliver, it's really important that the most important thing about staying out of trouble is deliver the goodies. If you make a promise and you keep a promise, and both sides make promises and keep promises, your chances of having a successful business dealing and chances of preventing legal problems can, the whole name of the game is to minimize these things. So this is not normally what I do, but I shared with you a little secret document that I created for myself. Again, I think it's really important that, if you're not an attorney, you might want to consult an attorney. I'm not an attorney, so everything I've done here is for entertainment purposes only. And I just want to encourage you, if you want some help, is available. My main jam is I transform employees into entrepreneurs. I am a profitable business creator. I help help winning entrepreneurs win bigger. If you're an existing business owner frustrated because your business isn't growing fast enough, or maybe you're doing pretty good and you've hit a plateau and you can't break through to the next level, I can help coach, mentor you, and help diagnose and prescribe a path to help you build a better business. So how do you create contracts? What am I promising? What am I delivering? What do I need from them to promise and deliver? Put it in writing so everybody understands. And most of the stuff that I do is about helping you get more customers to pay you more money more often. Contracts are a formality, and the bigger the deal, the more that's at stake, the more you need a written one. The more that it's easy to track, are both sides doing things? I'm a big fan. Here's something that I have to say is simplicity is godly, complexity is the devil. The more you complicate the things, the less likely it's going to happen. All right. This is Joe Nicasio, your business mentor. God bless you. Have a phenomenal day.